Welcome to World Patriot Radio, where we are all patriots, no matter what nation you come from. There are patriots around the entire planet. And for myself, I am an American patriot. I live in America, and I love my country. So, I want to talk about masks. And the whole reason behind the pandemic or the plandemic and the masks. I want to share a story with you about Facebook. I had a message that I was sending a friend, and it was just an idea of what I wanted to talk about on a show. And this was my statement. It said, I'm playing with a couple ideas, and I've decided that it's not about covering our face. It's about covering our mouth. Because when you're 6 feet apart and scared to death of each other, you can't communicate. This is about our First Amendment, our freedom of speech. This is about our freedom. Well, Facebook blocked that message, and they said it was offensive. Can you imagine that? The First Amendment is offensive to Facebook. I wonder why. Yeah, they are in big trouble because all of a sudden they are censoring everyone because they do not want the truth out, especially now that we know there's voter fraud. And they want everyone to be quiet and not talk because they don't care what you have to say. Those masks are about our First Amendment. Those masks are to cover you and not allow you to speak. They're also there for Antifa to cover their face so they can go rob things and never be identified. Because that's what they want. They want chaos and they want a civil war and rioting. But we're not going to give it to them because we believe in freedom. And in numbers, we can demand that. We don't want any civil war. There is a war, but it's an information war. And we can stand together when we learn the truth, because the Great Awakening is how we stand for freedom. And that's what's happening. That's why they're trying to muzzle us. They don't want us awake. They want us to put that muzzle and just make us live in a fear, with us walking around with our eyes wide shut, just like Stanley Kubrick told us. Go see that movie again. It will mean a lot more. Nicole Kidman's last dialogue or line in that movie was, "Now I'm awake." Yeah. That is what is happening. And part of this whole voter fraud setup and the plan that is happening out there that 17 has been a part of is about waking up the public. Donald J. Trump couldn't just win 4 more years without revealing the massive system that they have. And it's not just a voter fraud, it's an entire system. The deep state. They control the IRS, the DOJ, the CIA, the FBI. They've controlled these departments of unelected bureaucrats that are the shadow government. And it's not just in our country, it's worldwide. The Five Eyes. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's Australia, New Zealand, UK, and Canada, and us. Those are 5 countries that share intel. We're sure to spy on each other, and we have that capability. Except this Five Eyes were involved in a coup against our nation and our president. So what we're talking about here is very, very serious. there's connections that the CIA is involved in this. And we knew that. We knew Brennan was involved in the spying on our president's campaign before he became president. Can you imagine that? An American citizen. So what's them stopping from spying on all of us? Well, actually they are. You know, if you have any voice, then they cancel you and shut you up. Anyone that's in power is compromised, and that's how they get to the top, and that's how they control people. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was for. Jeffrey Epstein was, you know, the person that blackmailed everybody, and they did it in evil, evil ways. But that's not the only island, too. They all had their own islands. Islands were used for human trafficking. Human trafficking is the worst that it's ever been in the world right now. That's why they go after this idea that our founding fathers had slaves. And I hate to break it to you, slaves have been around for a lot longer than people realize. And right now, a human being is a commodity that people are selling. So slavery is the worst that it's ever been in history right now. And the very people that are, you know, making the founding fathers and the birth of our country the evil ones, they are the ones that are perpetuating and actually doing it, carrying it out worse than ever. Everything that they point their finger at is what they're doing. Yeah, they do that. That's a Marxist tactic. They just accuse you of doing exactly what they're doing. Projection. Project what we do so everyone thinks it's you, not me. I'm the virtuous one. And that's what people think they're doing when they're wearing the masks. I know they think they're doing something good. They're just brainwashed and don't realize that they're perpetuating evil. Some more people are dying because of the lockdown. Depression, alcoholism, teenage suicide is up. It's horrible what's happening. We're keeping our children out of school right now. The stats of the children in education is just, it's mind-boggling. They're just, especially the younger ones, you know. You have parents that are trying to make a living still and feed their family because they can't go to work. Unfortunately, we've been just using school as a babysitter, and we have to stop that too because they are indoctrinating our children. So even they do have to be in school, but we have to fix the schools, you know, or we have to start homeschooling. I think it has to be both, and I think we have to majorly get involved in schools, not just what we think was involved. At this point, I think we need a say-so, and we need volunteer parents. I think all the parents should be allowed to observe the classes. In fact, I believe that we should have a committee and a group of parents that take turns in the school making sure that teachers are not indoctrinating our children. You know, I think that's a good idea. Just came up with that. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay. Well, I don't want to go on too long. I want to make this kind of short. I know I covered a lot of subjects here, but anyways. This has been World Patriot Radio. I'm Paul Roskowski. Good night.